So who are the members of the Rocket Dolls, and where did the name come from?
Right, I'm Nikki. I'm the lead guitarist and lead singer of the band. Tommy Kay's the bass player, and Benji is the drummer. I got the name from years ago. I was sitting up late at night watching VH1 or some shit like that, and Ricky Rocket, the drummer from Poison, killer drummer, was like on some like red carpet thing, you know, like some music awards or something like that. Or I think it might have been Rock of Love, you know, with Bret Michaels or something like that. And he had loads of strippers with him. He's like, these are my Rocket Dolls, man. And I was like, oh, that sounds fucking cool, man. Like, yeah, I'll write that down. Hopefully use that sometime, you know. And then, yeah, and also then I'm a big fan of Muse, and I actually didn't know at the time, but Muse had a previous band name called the Rocket Baby Dolls. So when we first started, everyone's like, oh, you guys Muse fans? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you nicking their name? No. We didn't know they were called that, but yeah, I suppose it's kind of like both things. But I got it from Ricky Rocket saying, these strippers are my Rocket Dolls, you know, or something like that. Yeah, so that's kind of how it came about.
Awesome. So, quirky question now. What cartoon character would you be if you could be any?
I'd be Bart Simpson, or not, or I'll tell you what, go back early 90s, I'd be Charlie Chalk.
Charlie Chalk?
Charlie Chalk.
I feel like I'm 5 again. Why? Why Charlie Chalk?
Dude, he's on an island by himself and he's like partying all the time. he parties all the time on an island and doesn't have to do anything. Rad.
Yeah, perfect.
Why not?
Okay, so you've been together for 7 years now.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about some of the highlights of the band's journey so far? Some of the best gigs you've played, for example?
Yeah. We played Hard Rock Hell end of 2011 in, I think it was Prestat in Wales. Really cold there. It was brutal weather. We played with Blackstone Cherry, and that was awesome. Love Blackstone Cherry, like followed them from their records and stuff, and they were just halfway through the album cycle, I think, of their third album, like The Devil and the Deep Blue Sea or something like that. And it was like awesome to find out that we were playing with them, and like Reckless Love as well, and they were pretty cool guys. And it was cool to play them. I actually think they went on before us, actually. They were the band before us, and then we went on. And Ace Frehley from Kiss. I don't think he played the same day we did, but I'm sure he was definitely on the bill. So it's kind of like, yeah, kind of like played for Ace Frehley from Kiss, like, you know, like, yeah, played with Kiss, you know, like, didn't play with Kiss, played with Ace Frehley from Kiss. Kind of like that. So that was a really wicked show, and, you know, I'd love to go back and play that show again. It was wicked. We've also played with some other cool bands, you know, like, you know, played with like Zico Chain and a Brighton band called The Crave quite a few times, you know, and bands like Slaves to Gravity and, you know, people like that. We actually played with a band called Grinspoon from Australia. They were kicking around with Silverchair. I don't know if you remember Do you know Silverchair?
No, I don't.
You don't know Silverchair? What? Okay, well, Silverchair were killer, man, in the 90s and stuff like that. They're not going anymore. Danny Johns is a bit like in the head, but can you say that? Can I say that? He's
You
a
can
bit
say
kooky
whatever
and he
you
said?
want. Yeah, you can say whatever.
I don't mean that. I'm a big fan of you, Daniel Johns. Like, I love you, man. But you're a bit kooky. But yeah, they were knocking around with Silverchair. You know, and they were massive. Like, they played like Big Day Out, like 100,000 people and stuff like that. And then they did like a small UK tour, and they played Brighton, and we played with them. And the guy was crazy. I think he's like had some problems and stuff. And you can see some wicked like interviews where he's just like, you know, a bit off it, you know, off the center. And like at the end of the show, he had this patch cable and this like cushion thing, and he was talking to me, but he was facing that way, and he was like, hey mate, and I was like, yeah, and then like he put his hand in front of me, like, don't look at me while you're talking to me, and then he went, are these yours? And I went, no, and he goes, bang, like that, and he shoved them on my chest and like threw them out, and he goes, they are now. I just had this patch cable in this pillow, and I was like, thanks. And he was like, yeah, see you later. And he was like, you were there. And he was like staring at me. It's bizarre.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah, but it was funny. It was a good show, man.
Yeah. What about in terms of attendance, like the biggest gig that you've done?
I think it was Hard Rock Hell. I think that was a couple of thousand, I think, in the room. You know, when we went on, the main stage opened, so some of it kind of went out, you know, but then a lot of people came back in because we were killing it. You know, so so people came back in, you know, so I think that's probably the biggest. And we also played a festival for the last couple of years called the Lodestar Festival in Cambridge, and that's like a couple of thousand out there, you know, so we played that as well, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Do you prefer these big gigs or more intimate venues?
I don't know. I don't think I've played anywhere so big that I can justify like saying like, yeah, I prefer the mega, prefer the Amonda domes, you know, like in the mega stadiums, you know, like haven't played anywhere like to justify that. But yeah, I mean, I love the small circuits, you know, because like you get some. I know you play in Birmingham or something like that, and you get some big sweaty metal dude with Slayer across his chest. And he's like, "You guys are fucking amazing," like that, and he's like smashing it with you there, and his fucking big curly hair's like smashing in your face, and like, yeah, this is fucking like rock and roll as shit, you know. And I suppose like when we did play like some of the big stuff, you're there on the stage, and then there's literally like 20, 30 foot till like someone else, you know. So it's a bit like cool, you know, like I'm just like up here with the guys, you know, and then there's like space. You know, so I do like the intimate stuff, but like I said, I don't think I can justify like saying like, yeah, I love playing at Wembley. Yeah, it's definitely better than the bollocking down the road, you know, like.
So what can someone expect from a Rocket Dolls gig?
Nudity, sex, spitting.
In that order?
No, probably not in order. It's more spitting, sex than nudity. Oh no, nudity then sex. I don't know. I don't know. Tommy K. He will always be fucking half naked, like halfway through the show. Ben will be sweating and I'll be spitting, but it'll be carnage. It's just a classic rock show, man. You know, like influence from bands of like the 80s and 90s and stuff, and it's just fucking, you know, balls to the wall, like turn up to 11 and fucking give it a rock show, you know. And that's what we love, and that's what we do, you know. So you don't just get some guy like, yeah, hi, this song means a lot to me. You know, with his acoustic and stuff, you know, we're like, yeah, fuck yeah, okay, ready for the next one? Ah! You know, like turn it to 11 and it kicks off, you know. So that's where you get like carnage, energy, and mayhem, like a classic rock show. That's what you want, you know. Yeah,
awesome. So on a more serious note now, have you had any issues with illegal downloads of your music?
I don't really. No, not really. I mean, I don't think there's we're big enough to notice like such a change. But I mean, when we go out on tour and stuff, you know, you look at the numbers from iTunes and stuff, and you think like, man, I wish they would be bigger, you know. But you know, when people come to shows, they're singing the songs and stuff, and they're getting so. I suppose like somehow, but there's Spotify as well and stuff like that. You know, like we were saying before, you know, that probably does account as like not a download, so you won't see the numbers or the money side of that.
Do you think it's a good thing, Spotify and sites like that?
Yeah and no. I mean, like if you're like Coldplay, you know, like or you know, like a massive band like that, I don't think it's going to make a difference on you. You know, I mean, people are going to hear your records, and you've got radio play and stuff anyway. But you know, when you're a band like us, and you're trying to crack through, you know, like any break in the industry at all, you know, and you have. You know, you're gagging for like a snippet of radio play, or even someone you know who's slightly bigger than you to like mention you somewhere, you know, like that, is fucking awesome, you know. But like taking the thing from like Spotify and stuff, I don't know. At the moment, anyone listening to our stuff, listen to it, wicked, you know. And if we get some money like from it, then that's just kind of like a bonus, you know, really, because whatever we get just pumps straight back into the band if it doesn't go into our pocket, you know. Yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, I think if you're a big band, I don't think you notice it. But if you're up and coming, it might hinder you financially. But like, for me, if anyone is listening to it, anyone at all, and you know, around the world as well, you know, like someone in America and stuff, like sent us a message like, "Hey, I've looked you guys up, fucking rad." And you're like, "Sweet," you know, like playing LA anytime soon? Nope. You know, like, but I suppose that's how that comes about. But yeah, I think Spotify is great, you know, like, and the same with YouTube, because, you know, you get like PRS and stuff like off that. But I don't think for us, it really makes too much of a difference in terms of finance or anything like that. But in terms of just getting it out there, then yeah, wicked. Anyone listen to it, then go for it, you know.
What are the best and worst things about being in a band?
Best thing being in a band, you know, you get to spend, you know, when you're on tour, you get to hang out with like your best mates all the time, you know, and you get to fucking play music, man. You're like, what better way to do that? You're like, well, so what do you do? Like, yeah, I'm a musician, man. You know, like I get to go around the country and hopefully, you know, maybe going to Europe at some point, you know, and maybe even America and around the world, and you get to play, you know, that time when you're in your bedroom as a kid, you know, like, and then you get to do that on the stage, and people come to see you. That is so cool, and you get to hang out with your best mates all the time, you know, and that's just the best thing. But the worst thing is, you know, there's just waiting around, you know, like again what I was saying before, you know, like you go from like Glasgow or something to Birmingham, drive for like 3-4 hours, and then you unload and you sit around in a tiny room in the background kind of going, when are we on? 3 hours. Okay, cool, man. When are we on? 2.5 hours, man. You know, like sitting there like kind of like burning and waiting around. That's, I think any band will say that. I mean, no matter how big or small, any band says the waiting around.
Yeah.
You know, like not being able to do anything.
Do you have a specific pre-gig routine that you go through?
Try and cuddle and caress Tommy and Benji as best as I can. You know, maybe in like a.
Do they respond in the same way?
Of course they do, man. You know, like yeah, we're tight. You know, we're tight.
Cool.
No, man, I don't know, not really. Like, I mean, all three of us kind of like have our own thing. Like, you know, like 20 minutes before you go on stage, everyone's kind of is a bit kind of like, right, yeah, you know, like kind of. It's not like nerves, but you just kind of like, fuck, I just want to get on and do it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're about to go and have a fight, you know, you get that adrenaline pumping in you, like fucking shaky shit, and like want to just fucking get on and do it, you know. And I think that's it. And that's why I like to have like 10-15 minutes of like my own time, like get my mind together and then go out and do it, you know. And the other guys are the same, you know, but like, yeah, you know, maybe like a quick handy off the bass player and like, you know, like a little cuddle off the drummer.
Yeah.
Just keeps it real.
Sounds perfect. So what subgenre of rock would you say that the Rocket Dolls come under? And do you think, you know, you constrained by the genre, or is it a genre that you picked yourselves, or?
Well, we take the mick out of all the genre stuff, you know, because some people go like, oh, they're a grunge band. And it's like, okay, but we have like influences from other genres that are clear and evident in the songs, and even how we our images as well, you know, and our personas and what have you, you know. And some people go, no, man, they're a metal band, straight out metal band. It's like, no, we're not. You know, Slayer's a metal band. You know, Metallica's a metal band. We're not fucking Metallica or Slayer by any stretch of the imagination, you know. And then some people go, no, they're a riff rock band, you know, like they're a commercial rock band, they're a hard rock band, you know, like that. To me, we're just a 3-piece like rock band, you know, classic 3-piece rock band. So, but because we got all these influences, we kind of give us this stupid thing of post-grunge riff metal, which kind of like does the grunge thing, you know, like the post-grunge thing, the riff rock side and the metal thing. So it kind of like all slams it together, you know, and it actually gives people a bit of like, oh, what's that? So
yeah,
actually, like,
description.
Yeah. Of course, you know, people are like, well, what's post-grunge riff metal? What's this new genre? It's like it's not a new genre at all. It's just kind of like taking the piss out of all the subgenres of stuff, you know, like, you know, ham sandwich metal or some shit, you know, like we're just a 3-piece rock band, but we just give it a stupid title, you know, because we fucking do, and it's just funny. Yeah.
So besides the gig coming up on April 6th at Sticky Mike's, what other gigs have you got coming up in the next few months?
Well, we're on tour in May, all around the south, and that's going to be awesome. You know, literally just covering around the south and stuff like that. And we finish up in London on June the 6th in Camden at the Dublin Castle, which is a headline show. Got to come to that. That's going to be badass. You know, and of course, like the Sticky Mike show, we're really looking forward to this because we haven't actually played Sticky Mics before, you know, and so we've always played like every other venue, you know, and so people are like, oh, when are you playing Sticky Mics? There's a good venue, and I'm like, oh, we haven't played it yet, and no one's asked us, you know. So like when Billy came along, and was like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know, like yeah, we'll do that, you know, like so like yeah, can't wait. So yeah, really looking forward to the April the 6th show.
What other venues do you like in Brighton that you've got a favourite venue that? Obviously, Sticky Mike's will probably become your favourite, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Yeah, we really loved the Engine Rooms, but that, I don't know, you probably don't remember the Engine Rooms? No. You don't remember? Fuck, man, that was a great venue, man. That was like sweaty Seattle, Nirvana-y grunge venue, you know, like you walked in there and it smelt like the night before constantly, you know, like of basically piss and sweat and blood, and it was awesome. You know, that was such a great venue, you know, and it sounded great in there too. But, you know, I think it's like a cocktail bar or something now, you know. And there was another couple of venues like the Barfly, which was the Gloucester, and oh man, there's so many other venues that they're just disappearing. But the Green Door Store is a wicked venue. We play there quite a lot actually. We, you know, get asked to play there a lot. We played there the other day with a band called Dorje, you know, which is Rob Chapman's band. You know, he's like the internet YouTube guy, and he owns Chapman Guitars and stuff. So it was wicked to be asked to play with those guys, and they were fucking awesome. You know, so that was cool. But yeah, in terms of venues and stuff around Brighton, there's like some spring up and then they die in a couple of weeks. You know, but Green Door Store is killer because it's kind of like It's like old sludgy. It's like it's the next thing on from the engine rooms, I think. But like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing sticky mics. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Break the cherry of sticky mics.
Okay, so quirky question.
Go on then.
What biscuit would you be and why?
Biscuit. Dark chocolate digestive. Every time.
Why?
Well, it's like a pure, honest biscuit. You know, it's not like full of milk and shit. It's like more. Is it cocoa? Is that the right one? I'm looking at you. Give me a yes or no. Is that right? Yeah. It's like dark chocolate. So it's like more pure chocolate. It's less interfered with.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking biscuit. So you can dunk it in your tea. You know, you can like put it in your ear. You know, like or shove it up your ass or whatever you want to fucking do with it. You know.
That's what you like to do with biscuits. Then?
Yeah, exactly, man. You know, and so I'd be a fucking dark chocolate digestive, man.
Awesome. Cool.
Oh fuck me, man. Actually, bourbon.
Oh, bourbon's the best.
Yeah, they are fucking bad. Pink wafers, bit camp maybe.
I've had that for years.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Custard cream. Fuck, man, you've started something.
Too many good biscuits.
Too many great biscuits.
Yeah.
What biscuit would you be?
Oh, not prepared for this. Yeah.
Pressure.
Let's go for pink wafer.
Pink wafer.
Yeah, why not?
I like that. I like it.
Okay, so what equipment do you use when you're live? I know you said you're a big guitar fan. Is there specific guitars that you like to use?
We're all music geeks, man. You know, and I think a lot of musicians in especially like the Brighton area, they're really geeky and stuff. You know, and a lot of bands we play, someone's like, what's that you're using? You know, like, and I'm like, yeah, wicked. Yeah, we get to talk about all the geeky stuff. I play like Fender Strats and Tellys and Jags. Benji plays Orange County drums, you know, and they sound fucking wicked. Tommy's like really old school. He has an Ampeg and a Fender P and a fucking, I can't remember, is it a Thunderbird? Yeah, a Gibson Thunderbird, you know, and yeah, it has a couple of effects like distortion and stuff like that. And I play Orange. I'm an Orange artist. I'm really lucky to, you know, that they think I'm all right, you know, that they've put me on their artist roster, you know, so thanks Orange again, you know, that's a little plug, yeah. Buy Orange because it's badass. You know, I love Orange stuff. Have done since I was a kid, you know, you've seen like everyone play fucking Orange. So yeah, I play Orange, you know, and it sounds great, you know.
Is it, apart from the instruments, do you take anything else on stage? Do you do any other equipment wise to enhance the act? Or is it just you three instruments, simple as?
Yeah, there's no bullshit with us. There's no laptops and, you know, click tracks and sequences and stuff, you know. There's three of us in the band, and on stage there's three of us. You know, Steve Jobs hasn't joined us in playing Pro Tools in the background quietly. Do you know what I mean? There's no guy behind the desk going like, yeah, sequence the next one up. You know, like things like that. You know, we're like, what you see is what you get. You know, we're honest musicians. You know, and I think that comes out live. You know.
If you had the choice of being signed by a label or staying independent, what would you choose?
Neither. I'd build a farm. I don't know. I'm not in a position to be like being offered a massive record label contract. You know, I mean, ideally, I'd love to be signed to like 11/7 or, you know, Roadrun and stuff. Like a lot of my favorite bands have been with those two labels. You know, so like obviously the natural thing is go and approach them or something and be that. But I mean, I don't know. A lot of really tiny labels aren't really like kind of, to my knowledge, aren't really surviving much, you know. So I don't really know. I mean, ideally, I'd love to be signed to like a big ass Roadrunner record or 11/7 kind of like label.
Yeah.
But
if they asked for tweaks in any part of the band, would that be? What would you do then?
I'd be like, no, man, it's about the music and stuff. No, I don't know, man. I don't know. They'd probably say to me like, "Fucking go to the gym, you fat bastard," or something. You know. I don't know. I'm not in a position to know, but I'd like to think that they wouldn't. You know. Yeah. And I'd like to think that they'd sign your band. It sounds really cheesy. Like, I think they sign my band on the merit that it's just fucking rad the way it is. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And then they go, "Yeah, we don't need to do anything. Just
unleash you to the world."
Unleash them to the world. Yeah, of course, man. But yeah, if I had the choice, I'd go over. Of course, yeah, I think I'd go over a major label. You know? Cool. And then maybe start my own label. Yeah. Afterwards, when I've conquered the world.
What would you call it? What would your label name be?
The thing is, I'd like to say Rocket Records, but Elton John owns Rocket Records. So I can't have fucking Rocket Records. So maybe I'd start up Elton John records. And you know,
this is like a FU to Elton John.
yeah. Fuck, I'm gonna do that.
Perfect.
I'm gonna start up Elton John records.
There we go. So you released your latest album, Eyes, last summer.
Yeah.
For those of us who don't know the behind the scenes, what goes into making an album?
Blood, sweat, tears, many tissues. a lot of tissues. I don't know. It's making a record's tough. You know, it's the difference between making an EP and a record is massive. It's night and day. When we made our EP Frame, you know, it was done like 4 days. Went in there, fucking smashed it out, and then see what I did there. Like, yeah, like smashed down like 4 days. You know, knew what we were doing and stuff. Had it like an agenda of what we were going to do. You know, did it, and it was done. You know, with the album we had like set a plan of what we were going to do, like same structure, but yeah, things like swapping, like changing your bass player twice. You know, to find the bass player that's right for the band, that's something that happens when you find, you know, like, oh, who can and can't cut the mustard. When you're
was that a really hard process, like getting rid of members?
Yeah, it was brutal because they'd done their parts, you know, and then you look at it all and then you go, it's not good enough, and there's no way of bettering it from them, so you just go out. You know, that's kind of how it went. You know, both times. You know, and then I went to college with Tommy. So when we had a set, I was like, dude, and he was like, yeah, I'm not in the band at the moment. And then he came in and fucking killed it, you know, like he smashed it, you know, like yeah, he came in and he killed it, man. And you know, and that's what you hear from him, you know, because it sounds great, and that's him. He did all the stuff really quick, you know. But yeah, making an album is really hard, you know, and I felt ill, you know, like in the middle of doing that, you know, and then swapping to bass players, you know, and then an album that was supposed to take like 6 months to do, you know, like have like a free 6 months to kind of have a go at it, turned into like 3.5 years. Yeah. You know, and that sucked, you know, and it was tough. And a lot of bands break up while doing a record, you know, because, you know, I think it shows the men from the boys, you know, that type of shit, you know, and, you know, it's tough, you know, like to keep going and financially to come and do a record, you know, do like that when stopping and starting all the time, because you've got to get up, you've got to fire yourself up for it again, you know. And if you know, you go in there and you suck for 3 days and you've had 3 days booked, then you're fucked for like another couple of weeks till you have to go back in there and do it again. So making a record is hard, you know, but there were so many funny moments, man, like making it. It was a blast. Overall, I'm like, yeah, wicked, and I'm glad the bloody thing came out in the end, you know, because I think originally it was supposed to come out in like 2011. So. And then it took ages, you know. It was Billy's fault, you know. But you know, no, it's definitely hard making an album like that, and it busts your fucking balls, tests you as a musician as well, you know, because you like, especially like I think we were saying before, like with the difference between an EP and a record is like you kind of know, went in there and just like smashed it out like carefree, you know, and then go and it's like serious hat on, and we had like an amazing producer, Mark Roberts, you know, at Empora Recordings, you know, and he like shaped the band in the sound, you know, heard what it was like in an essence, and made it grow up, you know, you know, and really bust my balls as a guitarist and a singer as well, you know, many times like, we're going to lunch, you know, like fuck this, we're going to lunch, you know, like we'll come back and review it, you know, and shit, you know, but yeah, it was tough making that album, you know, and like I said, becoming ill and sacking 2 bass players is not an ideal way of efficiently doing it, you know, but I'm glad it happened because now we have Tommy and needs the fucking bollocks, you know, and the band's the best it's ever sounded and the best it's ever been, so that's like the gotta get through the shit to get to the good, and that's how that happened really.
So I guess that leads on to the next question about, you know, how hard is it to balance the life of being in a band and having like a normal life where you have to go to work and do that on a daily basis?
It's hard because all 3 of us work, you know, and you have to have a job not only that can pay your way, but you know that will have a boss that will understand that you have a strong career, you know, so that you've got to be lucky to be able to have that, so they can give you time to go and tour, you know, and you have to like balance that. You got to, you know, make sure the tour's right. You can't just go and play like 20 tours and go, yeah, we've been on tour and 3 people saw us, you know, like that's not a good way of doing it. So you have to, you've got to, you've got to really look after yourself in that way, because you know that's where the business thing comes in. And I hate using it as a business, but you have to be business minded in that way. You can't, like I said, you can't just go out and play like 20 toilets and expect to have a good run in. You know, yeah, we just played like 20-day tour, but what did it do? Nothing. You know, so you got to pick out tours. Like we're playing in May, all the venues that we played with, you know, we've been to them before, and we know the areas and stuff, and we've got fan bases at them, so it's going to be a successful tour. Yeah. You know, rather than like playing the Bollockin round the corner, you know, like 20 people, and some other guy going, I used to be in Maiden many years ago. You're like, no, you weren't, dude. You know, like, you know, that stuff. So,
yeah, cool. So, what goes into writing a song or thinking of a song lyrically and music-wise?
Initially, for me, like I write most of it, and then we jam it out in a room. But what I do is, you know, sitting at home like with the guitar and stuff, you know, and you're just fucking around or practicing and stuff like that, and then you come with it and you go, oh fuck, that's cool. Like, grab your phone or a laptop or something, quickly record the idea, you know, like, and you'll have like a chorus idea from another thing that you've had. You're like, oh, I've got some chords and stuff that sound wicked, but I have nothing to put to it. And then somehow in your brain, you know, it comes up with it, and you go, oh fuck, those two linked. And that could be like 6 months apart, it could be like 2 minutes apart. And then you take, and then I'll take it to the lads, and then we jam it out if it's either shit or it's awesome, you know. And then we work on it, and it turns into this monster. And then I'll go home and write the lyrics, you know. And lyric writing, it's funny because I don't really try and do the whole lyric thing of like, I love her, she broke my heart, the Romeo and Juliet story again, you know. Like I fucking hate that, you know. I can't. Everyone's done it, and if you want to go and find that, then go and find the band that will go and sing, you know, sing about love all the time, you know. But with us, you know, we try and like stuff that's influenced us, like, you know, stuff you see on the news, or you know, stuff that affects people, you know, and us, you know, I'm not some like mega famous person. None of us really are. None of us are at all. I don't know why I said really are. You know, none of us are famous, you know. So you have like a grounding, you know, of like things that happen, you know, like things that you've seen on like TV and things that you've witnessed by, like, you know, life struggles, you know, stuff that real people understand, you know. And I think that's why people like us, because they can go, I like that song. You know, I had a tough time with some things, wrote about it in a song, let it out and dealt with it that way. Some, you know, some kids and stuff like, you know, a Waste was off our album, you know, and another one, The Rope Pulls Sins, off our record. You know, a lot of people go like, man, you know, I had an experience, I had no idea what to do with it, lots of things going on, heard that, I could let my emotions out of it. It's like I found like an answer to my stuff, and that's awesome.
Does it come easy, like, to you to write them lyrics down and get the song shaped in that way?
Yeah, and no. You know, sometimes like you have no inspiration. Oh, fuck, I don't know what I'm doing here. You know, but you have a melody. You know, like a melody, and you're like, yeah, that's wicked. So, you know, you'll write something like, oh, bananas are rad, oranges are not. I'll prefer to be a dark chocolate biscuit than a bourbon. you know, something like that. Yeah. You know, come up with some. That was a really shit melody though, wasn't it? That wouldn't be a good one. Yeah. You know, but you know, yeah, it builds upon stuff like that. But yeah, that's how we write lyrics. You know, you just come up with like something that's impacted you personally, rather than talking about everyone else's breakup and stuff like that. You know.
And are the influences that you have from bands that inspire you, whether alive now or from the past, are they clear in your songs?
Yeah, I think so. You know,
is that intentionally or just by accident?
I don't know. I think you are what you eat. You know, so like I listen to a lot of like Nirvana and King's X. You know, just to name a few, like Bush, bands like that, like grunge bands. You know, like strong riffs and good melodies and things like that. Like Foo Fighters, like especially early Foo Fighters, like Weenie Beanie and stuff like that. I love all that stuff, you know, where the guitar's kind of like more predominant than the vocals, really. You know, so, and that kind of comes out because we're like, you know, our verse structures vocally and melodically are probably not as strong as our choruses, you know. So the guitar is like a main point with the riffs and stuff like that, you know. And, you know, like for me, like seeing Kurt Cobain, you know, and like, you know, Dave Grohl and stuff like that, like, even Alice in Chains, like Jane Control, just standing there, like smashing it, rocking it out, you know, like, and Benji, like, is like from the really, like, he loves traditional drummers, you know, like Bernard Purdie and like Buddy Rich and stuff like that, and John Bonham, and they just sit there like, you know, like fucking like laying out. So Benji's like, like that, you know, like lays it out, you know, like really fucking puts all his emotion in there. And then Tommy is like, you know, like he's that guy, you know, like, so he's like jumping around the stage and stuff like that, you know, and pulling like HBK moves and stuff like that, like wrestling moves and stuff, you know, like that. And he just looks wicked, you know. It's kind of cool because usually on the stage I get tucked into some little bit in the side of the corner, is like fucking drum kit, and then Tommy has all the stage, and like, well, I'm glad he got the run of the stage because he's the guy that can fucking move around all the time, you know. And Tommy's like into the big like the 80s thing, like he's a massive Maiden fan, you know, like Motley and Def Leppard and stuff like that, and you know, so he brings that influence quite clearly, you know. So and it all kind of works together, you know. So, and it's very evident on stage with that, you know. So it's cool.
So obviously these are your influences, but if you could pick one band that you had to do a gig with, who would it be?
Right, I can't do one band, mate. So if I had to do like a festival, like or like The Bill playing at Wembley, it would be like, for me, Nirvana, you know, Alice in Chains with Lane Staley, early Foo Fighters, King's X, the X's. You know, I'm fucking just reeling billions of bands now to you. That's more of like an influence question. Sorry, dude. Nirvana. If I had to play with one band, it would be Nirvana. Yeah? Like, yeah. On the In Utero tour.
Awesome. Yeah. So how do you feel as a band performing in a world that's dominated by kind of pop music?
I'm a sucker to a couple of pop songs. Like, so I can't like say pop shit, you know.
Which ones? Which ones are you... Are they your guilty pleasures, or?
Well, I know Benj is a massive Taylor Swift and Katy Perry fan. Yeah, he loves Taylor Swift and Katy Perry. So, no, I don't think he does. I'm sure he does. I'm sure. In fact, he does. He loves Taylor Swift. No, I don't know. But pop's a funny one because, you know, like, I love stuff like Fatboy Slim and stuff like that, you know. I don't suppose that's really pop music, is it really, you know? But I love that, you know, that type of stuff, you know, and the Prodigy and stuff like that. And but pop music at the moment, I don't know, it's funny, you know. You have people like Ed Sheeran, you know, who are like, he's a really good musician and he's writing incredible music, you know, and he's a cool guy, you know. And then you've got people like Kanye West, you know. We were saying before, you know, like, name a Kanye West song.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't exactly. Yeah, no. Anyone name a Kanye West song? Nah. You know, like, but you can name his dog and his wife and his baby, you know, and what car he drives. You know, like, so it's funny how like pop music's turned into that. You know, it's like a personality more than like an artist. You know, I suppose I'm kind of digressing off your question a bit there, dude. But you know, like, but yeah, you know, pop music I think has a good place for it, but I think it's really overpainted at the moment. You know, some people are good at pop music and some people are just one-hit wonders and disappearing all the time. You know, and I think the UK is quite bad with that at the moment. Like rock bands, like, well, I suppose you get bands like Royal Blood who are like fucking wiping the floor with people, which is great. You know, and they're local lads. They're from Worthing. You know, so that's really cool. You know, but yeah, pop music as a whole, like, I can't hate the genre. I can't, you know. Because the Beatles were pop, you know. Nirvana at one point were pop, you know. Def Leppard and Motley were pop at the moment. They're popular. That's where it comes from, you know. But yeah, I think as the term things like, if it was like Britney Spears and stuff, nah, don't like that. You know?
You know,
but
who does?
Yeah, of course, man. You know.
Yeah.
You know. But that's the image most people get of it, isn't it? You know. That's not the right pop, is it? You know.
I want to ask specifically about. You said you're a Muse fan.
Yeah.
I know other people in this room are Muse fans and don't like Muse as much now as early Muse.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Has Muse changed as a band? Are they?
Yeah, massive, man. I mean, like, I don't think one album of theirs sounds the same. You know, maybe their last two are quite very similar. You know, they're very electronic and pop and stuff. But like, I remember, like in '99 and 2000, like when Muse were coming through, you know, with Showbiz, you know, and like I was like, oh man, this is really cool. Again, like the 3-piece thing. I love the 3-piece sound. So like hearing them at the time, they were just like an honest, like, no bullshit rock band, you know. But they were kind of like catchy, quirky songs, you know, and that was really cool, you know. And then you had like Origin of Symmetry, which was like really coming together as a guitarist as well. You know, he was kind of like probably the next big guitarist along after like people like Tom Morello, you know, like really pushing guitaring, you know, like with all the cool effects he's got built into his guitar and stuff, you know. So you've got people like that. Like Matt Bellamy, he's a badass guitarist, you know, and you can't deny that they're killer musicians. But I think, you know, their new song, is it like Psycho or something that I heard? that's a riff that they've jammed for like the last like 12 years or something. You know, I remember seeing like clips of them from like Vector Festival and things like that. You know, where they do like the whole like destroying their stuff. You know, their set at the end of their set. You know, and they'd be jamming on that riff. You know, and I think that they've got a DVD from Glastonbury and stuff, and they pissing around for ages at the end playing that riff. You know, and then they've made it into a song. So, you know, it's like I think it's really cool actually. It's cool. You know, but I know some people saying like, oh man, that's a riff. We've heard that. You know, we want more rock from them and stuff like that. But you know, you can't slate them because they're like, and they're English too, man. You know, like it's hard to come up with a massive like great English rock band. You know, in recent times. You know, and they're like flying the flag. Well, we've got Biffy Clyro as well. You know, which are like they're killer. You know, but again, I think early Biffy stuff. You know, it's like more riffy, you know, it's awesome. But bands got to evolve and move, you know, as you get older, life becomes different, you know, if you got bigger as well. Same with Muse, you know, like they become massive, you know, they play stadiums now, you know, they're not going to necessarily know what it's like to play sticky mics, you know, like, and things like that, you know, so, but I mean, of course, like, I prefer the early stuff, but I suppose the other question is, if you prefer the early stuff, then go and listen to the earlier stuff. You know, it's out there to listen to, and if you don't like the new stuff, then don't buy it.
So you said earlier on that there were some medical issues that came up when you were creating your album. Did that change the way the band worked? Did it change your outlook on the band or music? Or
yeah, massively. I had 2 operations on my knees because I got old really quickly. I think I'm just unlucky. At the age of like 24, I had to have 2 knee operations, but then I got pneumonia afterwards and almost died. It was badass. It's like, fuck you, survived pneumonia, you know. It definitely changed it because it halted the record, you know, like can't do anything, couldn't tour, you know, and then fired a bass player, you know. So while all that's going on as well, you know, trying to do it, it massively halted and changed the band, you know. But it, on a positive for me, I wrote what is going to be the second album, you know, like fucked, like, you know, on my back for like God knows how many weeks. So I was like waiting for my knees to recover, you know, being wheeled around in a wheelchair, shit, you know. Wrote that all in like about a week or 2, like the whole album, and it's fucking dark and it's awesome, and I can't wait to show everyone that, you know. So out of that has come like the second album, even though the first album wasn't finished, you know. It was all, I had it all down and like recorded on my phone, like just the riff ideas and me like kind of going, you know, like like into my phone and stuff like that, you know. But it was tough. It changed it changed the whole scope of the band and definitely made you appreciate your time a bit better, you know. And it, you know, it definitely had a detrimental effect on the band, you know. No 2 ways about it, you know. But it stunted the growth of the band, definitely. You know, so but you just have to pick yourself up off your ass, dust yourself off, and say fuck off and keep going. You know.
And you've done that with the second album coming.
What
can you tell us about that? I mean,
I mean, I don't let too much out of the bag with it, you know. Like, but we are in the process of like recording it now, and we're doing it with Mark Roberts again, who did the first album, because he did such a fucking great job on it. You know, so we went back to him and, you know, started it before. Well, we're all started and stuff now, you know, and it's sounding great, you know, and I don't know when it'll be out. I have no idea. We're still touring the first one, you know. While we've had time off tour, we've been in the studio, you know. So when we've started the gig run again, you know, that won't be touched till probably the end of the year, you know. But I'm really excited about that and the second album as well. I can tell you it's called Deadhead.
Awesome.
So it's definitely that might set the vibe up a bit about it. Yeah. So it's going to be a wicked record. I'm really stoked about it.
So if people go away from this interview and you want to listen to just one song, which song would it be and why?
Can't Keep 'Em Down, which is the second track off the album Eyes. It's probably one of the most personal ones on there. Just it has, you know, whenever I play it live, if it's the second song in the set, or, you know, one of the first songs in the set, or if it's at the end of the set, or wherever it is, for me that's where I make that like the step from 10 to 11, you know, as it were. You know, I love playing that song. I love playing the solo in it, you know, and the riff at the end. And when I always turn around, even if we're playing to like a bunch of people that are sitting there going You know, like, don't fucking like us at all, you know. Whenever we play that, even people are like, okay, that riff's pretty good. Yeah, I'll let you have that. You know, like, and, you know, when I turn around to the guys and stuff, everyone's always like, yeah, fucking, yeah, and like, you know, like, and for me, it's like, that's where it all comes together, and that's something for me. I just love playing it and love hearing it, you know. I don't get bored of hearing it, you know. So it's great. So if anyone wants to check out Can't Keep Them Down, it's the one. It's the one.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for your time, and
Indeed.
good luck with
Thanks, man.
everything in the future.